Grizzlies fans, it's time for another Grizz game day update. The Grizzlies are on the road taking on the Los Angeles Lakers as they continue their 5-game homestand. Joining me is Allie Clifton. Allie, I'm kind of excited for this one because although I wouldn't call this a rivalry, like it's not like an old school rivalry, I feel like there's some like they don't like love each other. The playoffs last year, and it makes it fun.
Yeah, I think that's what competition's all about. Well done with describing that, if you will. I also think it's just funny too because the teams are different, right? Like the team is different for the Grizz and the Lakers. Having said that, from last season to this year, and then obviously from that first matchup to now this matchup, like it's just different. And but nonetheless, I don't think any fan forgets that, especially being in LA, and it does. It makes the competition fun.
Yeah, I mean I love games like this. I'm all for it. So you mentioned the last game and I'll do like a little recap of that. That was back in November before Ja ended up coming back. So it was 134 to 107. Rui was actually the leading scorer for the Lakers and he's out today. So when we talk about different rosters, like it's all going to be moved around for both teams. The Lakers have lost 9 of the last 12, Grizzlies 4 of their last 5 after getting Ja back and winning 4 straight. I saw a funny stat that was emailed out actually that said the Grizzlies have won their last 3 home games and the Lakers have won their last 3 home games like in the season series against each other. So that's kind of interesting. That the
Yeah.
Lakers go into this with like very much home court advantage in terms of against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and I think just from the Lakers standpoint, they've been fairly great at home this season. They've hit a rough patch, and I think that's not just at home. That's not just on the road. That's just them entirely. They're going through it right now, trying to figure out rotations and starting lineup and consistency and rhythm and all the things, right? You listen to the guys, you listen to Coach Ham, you watch the games, you see that something's just not there and where it should be, large in part since the in-season tournament. Having said that, home was a place for much of the start of the season until recently, where they could kind of hang their hat on, kind of get right if they needed to, lean on the fans, and kind of feel good about themselves. But it hasn't been great to them lately. I mean, they did beat the Hornets after Christmas. Having said that, 1 second, getting a call. There we go. Having said that, I do know just coming out of the locker room the other night after their loss to the Miami Heat, just the little things, listening to Anthony Davis, listening to Austin Reeves. It's about the little things, the details, and competing. And I know Darvin's preached that energy, effort, discipline, and your willingness to want to compete. So I expect a great showing tonight. I mean, it's Friday night in LA. And to your point, John Morant's back, and it's their first look at him since last year. So should be a good one.
Everything that you just said about, effort, competing, those things are the exact same things that Taylor has been preaching to this Grizzlies team, like in this drought, I'd say, with Ja being back. I guess which isn't a surprise because these two coaches come from the same coaching tree, but I think a very similar story comes with the Grizzlies. So one of them is going to break this little drought. One of them's not tonight. I want to talk about the non-star production because I think on the Grizzlies side, that's going to be a really big key. And looking at even that last game against Miami for the Lakers, 65 of the 96 points were scored by those big 3. The Grizzlies against the Raptors, our last game, 74 of 111 was scored by the big 3. LeBron is questionable tonight. AD is probable. The Grizzlies 3 is good to go. Who else needs to step up other than LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Anthony Davis?
Just about everyone. And I think the guys would tell you that as well. And they're not pointing any fingers by any means. But having said that, I think, you look at the big dogs for the Lakers, especially LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and they've been available. They've been there for this squad. I think AD's missed 2 games. Bron's missed 3 of the entire season so far. We're going into game 35, game 36. But I think that's also been the reason why we haven't been able to find any rhythm or consistency because we've had guys in and out of the lineup. I mean, you start the season without Jared Vanderbilt, who was such a big part of your success last season. You're dealing with D'Angelo Russell, who is now out tonight and continues to be out dealing with that tailbone contusion. Rui's been in and out dealing with various injuries. And so to be able to find any sort of rhythm or consistency when you're dealing with your 10th different starting lineup, from guys surrounding your big stars, you know that your big dogs are going to produce, right? I mean, I know LeBron is coming off his lowest scoring game since 2021, but you can't expect that from him, right? You know what you're going to get from him on a night-to-night basis. Anthony Davis has proven to be at that MVP kind of level this season. He's coming off a great month of December. And so just whether it's shot making, whether it's confidence, whether it's, getting after it first and foremost defensively, each and every single guy has to step up and be able to kind of play their role, as we often hear when it comes to competition, star in your role. That falls on everyone right now.
And because it's the first time Ja is playing against the Lakers, I just want to talk to you about defensively for the Lakers. Ja comes in, he's averaging 26 points per game, and he changes how everyone else plays too. He puts everyone back into like their position. Everyone was kind of playing out of position while he was away for 25 games. He's back. He's electric. He's fun to watch. He's quick. He gets to the rim. What's the matchup look like, do you think?
I mean, it's going to have to start with Cam Reddish, I imagine. Jared Vanderbilt. Vando's off the bench, but Cam, I assume, is going to draw that perimeter defensive assignment from the jump. And then you've got Anthony Davis doing what he does on the back line. It also doesn't just fall on one guy. We know that. It is a team collective to stop a guy like, or not even stop, slow down a guy like Ja Morant. But it starts with him. You're exactly right. I mean, he's given your team swag. We've known that. He is who he is in this league. And I think at the end of the day, for the Lakers, as they continue to figure out what their offense is going to look like, that continues to be a work in progress. The one thing they can hang their hat on and that they know that they can control is the defensive side of the basketball. And to your point, it starts with Ja Morant, headed snake.
Let's end off with a key for each team. You want to take the Lakers. If they do blank well, they win tonight. Give themselves a key.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take something that it hasn't necessarily needed to be a key for much of the season, but coming off that Miami game, taking care of the basketball. I mean, they had 10 turnovers in the first quarter. I think 15 in the first half against the Miami. That's just not a good recipe for success. They were coming off a game not too long ago, 41 assists. You had 7 guys in double figures. That's where, when you're talking about figuring out how to get some consistency and rhythm, especially with your offense, you got to feel the ball movement. You got to feel that energy behind the basketball. Everyone's got to be a part of the offense. Everybody's got to feel it, touch it, but you got to take care of it. And so I'll start with taking care of the basketball, knowing that above all of that, defense is the biggest thing for me. Okay. And I think if they get back to that, I mean, that's going to lead the way for them.
I like that one, especially for the Lakers. Well, I don't like on the flip, but yeah, the Grizzlies they feed off fast breaks. Like when they get going fast break, that's where they get their momentum. That's when they go on their runs. So obviously when you're getting turnovers or long rebounds, that's good for the Grizzlies. So great key, but obviously I want the flip. For the Grizzlies, I think I'm just going to take your like one that wasn't a real one and defend. They've been pretty poor on the defensive end the last couple games. And I looked at the last time they played the Lakers and they allowed them to shoot 58% from the field, 63% from the 3. And you just don't want to go into their home for the second time, the last time this regular season, and let them do that. Like that was horrible. But
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Bron and AD both sat in the 4th in that last matchup.
Yeah, and then
pretty close to.
They got interviewed, Allie, and they said, "When's the last time you were able to sit for the full 4th?" And he said, "I think the last time we played this team."
Game 6.
So hopefully that motivates them a little bit to not let that happen. Allie, thank you so much. Have a great game tonight, and I guess we'll see you when the Lakers finally come to Memphis.
Sounds great. I appreciate you, Kelcey.